I didn't create this video to show you that I'm 100% perfect with this. I still fall into this from time to time. But what I've done to minimize is I've gone through and I've done exactly what we're talking about in this video. I have my notifications turned off, that way it eliminates from how much I spend on these platforms. Like a Hellcat. Alright you guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Parker. In this week's video we're going to be talking about the traps of social media notification and why it may be beneficial that you turn them off. And to kick off this video, I want to share with you my personal experience and how I benefited from this. So around 3 years ago, I finally gotten to the point where I had turned off all of my notifications on my phone. It was just the fact of how annoying it became that it seemed like every time I got on my phone there was a notification from an app demanding my attention. And by doing this, it has led to me having more time to focus on life right in front of me. And as an additional interesting thought, there was actually times where I would go through and turn on my notification out of curiosity, but it wouldn't be very long that I would turn them right back off. I had just grown so accustomed to the fact of having them off that it just became abnormal for me to turn them back on. So what we may not fully realize is that social media creators actually benefit from the amount of time that we spend on their platforms. So when you get a notification, it triggers a dopamine rush within you, which in turn incentivizes you to go onto their app and spend more time on it. And in each time you go on it, those creators are benefiting from it. For me, this is incredibly toxic. These social media creators will do anything they can to keep you on their platforms as long as they can. Yes, even though it is a fundamental principle to entrepreneurship, we still have to be very cautious of this. Because at the end of the day, we are the ones left empty-handed and we still keep going back for that same dopamine fix. Now, what I'm not saying is that social media is bad. Social media is an actual great tool if we look at it from the right perspective, but we'll talk more about that shortly. What I am saying though is if you cannot control how much you are on these apps, then maybe it might be beneficial for you to go through and turn off these notifications. Social media is a false reality, and what I mean by false reality is that you were given a false picture of what people's lives actually look like, which can in turn trap you in comparison and jealousy. People aren't going to show you the endless amount of fights that they have with their spouses, nor are they going to show you the times that they are screaming at their children. We see a lot of people's success, triumphs, and happiness on social media. We just finished up the book called Atomic Habits by James Clear, and in this book it talked about how habits over time will compound each other and build into something big. We can apply that same principle here to social media. If you are not careful on these platforms, negative reactionary behaviors will begin to snowball. An example of that may be being jealous of somebody's success on Instagram or social media in general, would later on in life cause you to be jealous of your friends or family's success. And that can be very unhealthy for you and those lives around you. I use social media on a daily basis. I think it's a great tool if you look at it from the right perspective and you use it wisely. And when you look at it from the right perspective and right angle, you actually start to learn that online creators actually leverage these platforms to create a sustainable living for them. So you can see that social media platforms are extremely beneficial just as much as they are extremely detrimental and dangerous. We just have to be careful of how much we consume. And once we start treating these platforms as a lifeline is actually when we start to run into big problems. I didn't create this video to show you that I'm 100% perfect with this. I still fall into this from time to time. But what I've done to minimize is I've gone through and I've done exactly what we're talking about in this video. I have my notifications turned off, that way it eliminates from how much I spend on these platforms. And what I actually do when I'm going through seasons where I'm feeling spiritually dry and disconnected from God, I'll actually go through and I'll delete some of these apps off of my phone, that way so I can allow more time to reconnect with God. And maybe this is also something you could consider doing as well. But alright you guys, that is all I have for you in today's video. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, be sure to leave a like and also get into the comments section to let me know your favorite thoughts and what you got out of this video. And be sure to hit that subscribe button for more future content. Thank you guys, see you in the next video.